I want to talk about the number one reason I hate fruits and vegetables, and I will never in my life eat another fruit or vegetable. People say, Carrie, I could never do carnivore like you. I gotta have my salad, I gotta have my vegetables. It's just so good for you, it's so good for you. I laugh and I joke and I make fun. What is so good for you about a salad? People don't even like salads. They like the dressing, which is full of seed oils, which is horrible for you. They like the cheese, they like the croutons. If you like the salad, then go get a head of lettuce and eat it and tell me you like that, which has no nutritional value in it whatsoever. What is there, 14 calories in it? Homicide, suicide, herbicide, pesticide. If the word ends in side, that means death. They're spraying death all over these vegetables and plants that humans are then consuming. But it's okay because we take that little strawberry, right? And we're gonna put it under the sink and we're gonna sprinkle some water on it, and that's gonna get rid of all of the death and pesticide chemical poisoning that's in it. Are you serious? People tell themselves that and then they feel better. You don't think any of that poison permeated into the interior of that fruit? Really? And humans are wondering, why are we sicker and sicker than ever before in human history? Beep! Carrie here from Healing Humanity. The power of a proper human diet. It's beautiful out. It's snowing out. I want to talk about the number one reason I hate fruits and vegetables, and I will never in my life eat another fruit or vegetable. And why am I walking around in short sleeves outside in the snow? Because I'm kind of weird. Because I don't conform to social norms. Because the cold wakes me up and makes me feel alive and makes me appreciate the warmth more. I don't know. Let's talk about this fruits and vegetables thing while we go for a beautiful walk on a beautiful day. Thankful, grateful, and blessed. Here are some of the reasons, and then I will end this with my number one reason I will never eat fruits and vegetables again. It's been almost 300 days for me of not eating any fruits or vegetables. Where should we walk? Where should we walk? Let's go back here. One of the reasons I'll never eat fruits and vegetables again is because I'm a carnivore. And I've eaten only meat for almost 300 days, and I get all of the nutrients, all of the minerals, everything my body needs, I get from meat, and I need nothing else. And I can survive like that forever. And there are many, many groups of people, Native Americans, the Inuit, there's all sorts of groups of people, both now and throughout history, that have done that, and they thrive. They were studied by scientists for living long and having almost no incidence of cancer in their populations. So that's one reason. I don't need it. Another reason, it made me feel horrible. It made me bloated. I had IBS. Prior to doing carnivore, I ate a salad for lunch, a salad for dinner, and I have a little bit of protein. And I had arthritis in my back, in my elbows, in my foot so bad I was going around on a mobility scooter. I could barely walk. I had IBS. I was farting 500 times a day. Don't do that anymore. Another reason I absolutely despise fruits and vegetables, and people are gonna, I'm being sincere here. I'm not trolling. People are gonna get mad at me. I don't care. We have to speak the truth. We keep hearing these truths that eating meat's going to destroy the world and it's so bad for the environment. And it's a bunch of BS. Couldn't be further from the truth. I try to get most of my beef from my neighbors. It's grass-fed, regenerative farming. Do you know what that means? The cows eat the grass. The cows poop. The poop fertilizes the soil. The soil grows more grass. The cow's stomachs are amazing. They're able to pull all the nutrients out of that grass, and it's regenerative. It's the most natural thing that has happened since the start of time. Now let's look at vegetables. This is what makes me mad about the vegan and the plant-based. And don't get me wrong. If you're vegan because you don't like factory-farmed animals, I'm 100% with you, and I am totally against that, and I don't support that. I wish everyone would be able to get their meat like I do. Grass-fed, humanely raised beef. One cow dies, I get hundreds of meals. It's the most natural thing there could be. We got a dog in the dog kennel over here. Vegetables, on the other hand, people don't realize what it takes to grow vegetables. They think they know. They think, oh, I'll just put a seed in the ground and it will grow. No, that's not how it works. You have to amend the soil. Right now, you want to grow something in the ground. There's so many chemicals and fertilizers and a thing called blood meal and a thing called bone meal. These vegan people or plant-based people that have this attitude of, I'm better than everyone because I'm eating fruits and vegetables, is the furthest thing from the truth. The amount of death and destruction that has to happen for a vegan to eat their salad with a multitude of different vegetables in it is insane. And to just think that, oh, I'm so compassionate, my heart's in the right place, and you're just an evil person killing all these animals so you can eat your meat. You have blood on your hands. I get this comment all the time from people. It's the furthest thing from the truth. 70 million birds die per year, per the EPA. You can look that up and Google it. Look it up right now. From pesticide poisoning on vegetables. The amount of destruction it requires to grow vegetables is incalculable. It's insane. Monocropping, like just tearing the soil up, putting all sorts of chemicals and fertilizers in the ground just to try to get something to grow. Pesticides sprayed over by an airplane on top of these vegetables. 70 million birds die a year. That doesn't count all the deer, squirrel, fox, rabbit. That doesn't count the billions and billions of insects that die from that as well. But that's just fine. We won't count any of that. Meanwhile, what died for me? One cow. The other reason I absolutely despise and hate vegetables and fruit and will never eat it again is because the environment. Okay, now people are gonna say I'm crazy, but everyone keeps saying, oh, meat's gonna destroy the environment. It's so funny how things in life are completely the opposite of the truth. In so many situations, this one more than anything. You go in a grocery store right now, there's 60,000 products in the shelf. I eat a handful of those. The meat and the eggs, like two, but I guess there's different types of meat. So I eat the meats and the eggs. The other 59,998 products in the grocery store are, for the most part, processed garbage filled with seed oils and sugars, and they're processed. And what is a processed food? Let me ask you that. What is a processed food? It comes from plants. So we're growing all of these GMO, genetically modified plants. We're putting chemicals in the ground. We're destroying entire ecosystems. We're spraying pesticides all over the top of them. We're shipping them all over the world to different factories to process them, which requires an incredible amount of energy, pollution, gasoline to transport them through semis all over the world, all over the country, cargo ships, whatever. And then they go and they sit on the shelf on the store, and then people go to the store with their vehicle and they go buy the stuff, and then they come home and they eat half of it and they throw the other half of it out. It's the most wasteful thing in the world, and that's for 59,998 products in the grocery store. I eat two of those, beef and eggs, and I drink water. It is so wasteful, it is so bad for the environment, and to act like it's, oh, this is so much better, and meat's destroying the world. When what is meat? Go look at my cows. We could walk there right now, right down the road here. I've visited them many times. I did videos with them. The cows are grazing in a beautiful grass, natural field, eating the grass, pooping on the grass, and they're replenishing the soil. Which brings me to another reason I hate fruits and vegetables and despise them that other people ignore, that I learned from my good friend Maggie when I visited her in Canada. Maggie said, Carrie, I'm happy for you. You're doing carnivore. You've lost a bunch of weight. Your depression's gone. IBS is gone. You're feeling incredible. So many people are. She said, that's great, but that is not the message I want to get across. She said, here's my big message. What we're doing in the world right now with all of these fruits and vegetables that turn into processed foods is not sustainable. We're taking from the land. We're pulling everything out of the soil and we're not putting anything back in. People do not understand what it takes to grow something. You can't just take a seed and put it in some dusty, dirty soil and then boom, you've got vegetables. You have to amend the soil. You have to put so much stuff into the soil to get something to grow. And what if you went to Maggie's ranch, how does that work? If Maggie was to grow vegetables, which she doesn't, the cows would poop on the ground, and the nutrients in that poop would go into the soil and then end up into those vegetables. Well, we're not doing that now. We're putting all sorts of chemicals and artificial synthetic materials on these plants and vegetables to get them to grow. They grow, we take them out, and we put nothing in the soil, and the soil is left with no nutrients left in it anymore. Maggie said to me, she said, yeah, okay, you're going to get a carrot out of the ground and it's going to be all leaf. The leaves are going to be green and shiny and they're going to look nice. But she said, what's the nutritional value of the carrot? There's nothing in it because there was nothing in the soil before that. We took everything out of the soil. The reason you got some little green leaves on the carrot and it looks nice to you is because of the fertilizers they put on it, which is artificial. The truth matters, my friends. The truth matters. So I feel amazing as a carnivore. I could have never walked around like this before. I'd have been huffing and puffing. I would have been, oh, I'm so cold. Get in my jacket. Look at this. I feel great. Snow's coming down. It's a beautiful day. The other reason I'm not eating vegetables, because when I was eating vegetables before this, I felt miserable and I was arthritic. We talked about that already. So here's the next thing. Plant-based people that think they're not killing anything. Look up blood meal and bone meal. You want to grow a strawberry, it needs to have some sort of fertilizer, and a very popular one is blood meal, bone meal. That comes from dead animals, so you can have your strawberries. I don't have strawberries, so I'm not contributing to those dead animals like you are. 70 million birds die a year to spray pesticides all over your corn and crops and all this stuff that you eat. I don't eat those things, so I'm not contributing to those deaths like you are. I'm talking to the people that are the plant-based proponents that say it's so healthy and it's so good for the environment, and they are morally superior to me, and I've got blood on my hands for killing one cow. If you want to be alive in this world, something else is going to die. Now, if you can't handle that and you don't want something else to die, then you're going to just die because you're not going to eat anything. If you're going to eat a fruit, if you're going to eat a vegetable, lots and lots of animals are going to die, far more than are going to die with the compassionate carnivore way that I do of eating a grass-fed cow right down the road from me that has a good life. Here's the other thing, and this is just disgusting to me, and it just blows my mind. There's this social norm. You got to have your vegetables. They're so good for you. People say, Carrie, I could never, look, this is beautiful right here. People say, Carrie, I could never do carnivore like you. I got to have my salad. I got to have my vegetables. It's just so good for you. It's so good for you. I laugh, and I joke, and I make fun. What is so good for you about a salad? People don't even like salads. They like the dressing, which is full of seed oils, which is horrible for you. They like the cheese. They like the croutons. If you like the salad, then go get a head of lettuce and eat it and tell me you like that, which has no nutritional value in it whatsoever for the points I made earlier. What is there, 14 calories in it? I got down to my goal weight on carnivore, and I got really hungry because my fat reserves were depleted. What did I do? I'd go eat a fatty ribeye and some eggs, and it would fill me up and I'd feel great. What would I do if I was a vegan? Go eat 400 heads of lettuce that have 3 calories in it each? Are you kidding me? It's not sustainable. And then what ends up happening? You end up eating more processed food, which takes a huge toll on the environment, and it's horrible for you. Our bodies were not meant to consume these highly processed foods filled with sugars and seed oils and millions of different ingredients that we can't pronounce, but we just think, I'm sure it's fine. They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't put anything in my food that isn't good for me. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many ingredients in these processed sugar-filled fruits and vegetable-based processed foods are banned in other countries? These red dyes and these seed oils that stay in your body for years and years, they cause all sorts of inflammation and problems for you. Here's the other reason, and this is one of the big reasons. I wonder if this is my number one. No, I'll get to my number one in a second. Yeah, this is beautiful out here. This is one of the biggest reasons, okay? It's disgusting. They're disgusting. So many of those vegetables are disgusting. I used to eat Brussels sprouts all the time, and you have to roast them to a huge high temperature, put all sorts of other stuff on them just to make them so you could put them down. And then afterwards, what are you doing? What are you doing when you eat broccoli afterwards? You're farting all the time. There's all sorts of defense mechanisms in the vegetables. Dr. Anthony Chafee, shout out, has done several videos on that. Plants are trying to kill you, which is all, you hear that and you're like, that sounds crazy. And then you listen to the science behind it. No, it makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't a plant have a defense mechanism to try to prevent other things from eating it? One of my biggest reasons that I will never eat fruits and vegetables again. Well, I'm going to get into fruits in a second, but let me talk about vegetables. It's disgusting. I see people do this all the time. You go buy some fruit or vegetables, okay? Let's say fruit. Let's say some strawberries or something. I'm going to just take it home and, oh, there's pesticides on it. What does pesticide mean? Can we talk about that for a second? Homicide, suicide, herbicide, pesticide. If the word ends in side, that means death. They're spraying death all over these vegetables and plants that humans are then consuming. But it's okay because we take that little strawberry, right? And we're going to put it under the sink and we're going to sprinkle some water on it, and that's going to get rid of all of the death and pesticide chemical poisoning that's in it. Are you serious? People tell themselves that and then they feel better. You don't think any of that poison permeated into the interior of that fruit? Really? You guys can do your own research on this. I saw a video a while ago. They took some fruit and they juiced it, and they extracted all of the juice out of it, and then they analyzed it, and it was filled with pesticides, enough pesticides that they said we could have just taken those pesticides and reused them on other plants, and they would have been just as effective, and that's going into the human body. And humans are wondering, why are we sicker and sicker than ever before in human history? An epidemic of obesity, diabetes, billions and billions of dollars spent on cancer, and it's going through the roof. I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with the pesticides that we're consuming and acting like they're not there. I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with all the processed foods and seed oils we're eating, the highly addictive sugar that causes inflammation and so many downstream effects. But there's a collective norm out there. Everyone just says, well, that's just the way we've always done it. It should be just fine, despite the fact that everyone is sick and heart attacks and disease is just rampant. It's just fine. It's a social norm that I am going to break. Those social norms are so powerful and so hard to break. Social norms are things that everyone just like, well, I've done that my whole life, so it must be right. Those are some of the most destructive things in the world. Unfortunately, that's a big downfall of humans, is we have this hive mentality. Like, we got to go with the group. Everyone's eating fruits and vegetables. It must be the best thing for you. Well, look at all the things I just said. And explain this to me. I am healthier now than I have been my entire life. And I'm not just saying this. I've had some people leave me comments, oh, you're exaggerating. I have proof for all of these claims. I have been to the hospital, probably have a world record. In fact, I'm going to do a video on this. I'm still trying to get it all. I'm calling all of the hospitals and clinics I've been to get all of my medical records in one spot. There's different hospitals, different insurance, all this stuff, so it's really hard to do. It's going to be a stack probably 3 feet high. I am not joking. I have no appendix. I had my gallbladder removed. I've had several pilonidal cyst excisions. I had cancer on my ear. I was diagnosed with a TIA mini stroke a couple years ago. I have an irregular heartbeat, congestive heart failure. Prior to Carnivore, I could barely walk. I was 262 pounds at my heaviest. And for people that watch my channel and say, you're exaggerating those claims, what is that, libel? I am not exaggerating those claims. In fact, I have proof of every one of those claims. The 262 pounds was at a doctor's appointment. It's in my medical records. I could show you the before and the after. So I'm getting off on a tangent here. My point is, I am healthier now than I've been my entire life. And I haven't had a single fruit or vegetable in almost 300 days. Now, let me just talk about fruit real quick, because I'm going to extend this walk. I'm enjoying this. Fruit's a joke. Fruit is an actual joke. I get this from so many people too. What about fruit? It's so good for you. I got to have my fruit. Again, I've had no fruit for 300 days, and I feel amazing. I could run a marathon. I could barely stand up before. But my argument on the fruit is a joke. It has been modified over and over again so many times. The fruit that we have today on the shelves is just like everything else on the shelves in the grocery store. The 59,998 products full of addictive sugar to crave our never-ending addiction to sugar. You eat an orange now, if you could go back in time and eat an orange 100 years ago, it's unrecognizable. An orange today, an apple today is a piece of candy. It spikes your blood sugar, and an hour later, you're starving and hungry again. Just like a drug addict. You're seeking your next high. That's what they want you to do. And that's why they tell you breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Get you high in the morning, and 2 hours later, you're hungrier again. 2 hours later, you're hungrier again. And then they tell you to get your kids to do it. And they give you cereal, and they tell you breakfast is the most important meal of the day. They put cartoon characters all over the cereal boxes, and they get the kids hooked early from a young age so they can be a lifelong drug addict, sugar consumer. Explain to me in the comments how sugar is not an addictive drug that's been normalized, and it's the new collective norm that sugar's just fine, grandma gives you sugar, it's just fine. But meanwhile, obesity's through the roof, but it's a social norm, so I'm sure it's just fine. So don't talk about it. I'm gonna break these social norms. That's my goal in life now, is to break these social norms. People also comment on my channel and say, well, what about fruit? It says in the Bible they had fruit. Why can't we have fruit like it says in the Bible? Because the Bible, the fruit that was in the Bible does not exist on this earth today. It has been perverted. It has been manipulated. It has been altered so much now that the fruit of today is all candy, and it's junk food, and it spikes your sugar. I haven't had any fruit in 300 days. I haven't had any vegetables in 300 days. Almost 300 days. I think I'm a couple days shy of 300, depending on when this video goes out. I will never have fruit. I will never have vegetables again my entire life, and I'm perfectly fine with it. All sorts of groups of people and civilizations of people throughout history and now have done it and are doing it, and they're just thriving, and I don't need it. Some people have a problem with that because it's like, again, it's that social norm. My entire life I had fruits and vegetables. How am I going to go my entire life without having it again? Well, a switch will go off in your head at some point. My switch has gone off. I eat for sustenance, not entertainment. Food is not an entertainment for me. When people are eating for entertainment, the truth of the matter is that's like a drug addict. Like, what? You're doing it for pleasure. What else would you do for pleasure? Why do you do drugs? Because it makes me feel good. Well, why are you eating? Because it makes you feel good. Well, I believe humans are not meant to eat to feel good. I believe humans are meant to eat to survive and to thrive and for sustenance and for energy. And once that switch goes off in your head, that switch, thank God it went off for me. I don't crave those things anymore, and I don't want to even spend a second of my attention thinking about it. So I will never eat fruit and vegetables again. I strongly oppose this sentiment that people are superior to me that eat fruits and vegetables when it causes all sorts of destruction, pollution, and just massacre of animals. And the animals that die from that pesticide poisoning or from the machinery going over the fields or monocropping and just completely tearing up the fields and stuff like that. Those animals that are dying from pesticide poisoning, that's a horrible, painful, slow death. 70 million birds a year, look it up. Squirrels, fox, deer, a horrible, horrible death. One cow lives a great, long, happy life grazing in the field naturally like it was intended to, its purpose in life. And then it has a quick, painless death, and I get 400 meals out of it. You tell me your vegan, plant-based, vegetable and fruit diet is more compassionate than that. You can't do it. One other thing I learned recently that just even set me over the edge more is if the pesticides and the chemicals and all of this stuff that is so unnatural that is required to grow these plants and these fruits wasn't bad enough. There's a big thing that just came out that, you guys heard of forever chemicals? There are these chemicals that are in like the non-stick pans. They've did a couple documentaries and movies about these before. Those are now in the pesticides. So you are now not only getting poisonous pesticides that you wash off over the sink, those pesticides also contain forever chemicals. The reason they're called forever chemicals is because they stay in your body forever. Another reason that is just disgusting to me. Fruits and vegetables are disgusting. They're not sustainable. We need more cows. If everyone ate the way I did, and it's going to happen when the demand starts going up, people keep saying that there's not going to be enough meat. Well, under the current system, but when people start demanding more meat and they start paying for more meat, that's how business works. More people will start producing it. There's going to be a bigger need for regenerative meat and beef. And if everyone ate the way I did, the world would be such a better place. The the ground would be fertile and lush and things would be growing because we'd be regenerating it, and the manure and the poop would go in. And it's a circle of life, and it's natural, and it's the way things have been done since the start of time. This thought that plants and vegetables, it's such an unnatural way to get a plant or a vegetable out of the ground. All sorts of chemicals, all sorts of fertilizers, blood meal, bone meal. You got to spray it over and over again. You got to continuously amend the soil. You got to water it. And then if you're lucky, you get some plants and vegetables out of it that are permeated with disgusting pesticides and forever chemicals that stay in your body for your entire life. That's the number one reason I'm never going to have a fruit and vegetable again. It's disgusting, and I don't need it, and I sustain and I thrive with meat only. I have for 300 days, and I'm going to continue doing that. So if you're on this journey with me, I encourage you. You've got this. You can do it. It just gets better and better. I feel absolutely amazing. I'm walking around here in a t-shirt in the snow, and it's coming down, but I am thankful. I'm grateful. I'm blessed for all of you. Thank you so much. I never could have done a video like this before where I just talk for, 24 minutes, my favorite number, without stopping. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and have a great day.